Howdy, Beefalo Bart here, and welcome. Alright, in the last video, what we did was we went into the Cinti Studios Polygon Heist map, and we also went in and set up the animations to work for a central skeleton between the Polygon City and Polygon Heist pack, so that now we have one skeleton and one set of animations that will cover for all the different asset packs that we add in from them. So if I want to add in more, then I could do the same process. And if you didn't watch that process in the last video, then I recommend you go back and watch that one. So what we're going to do in this particular video is we're going to go to the Polygon City map. And there is a slight problem with the Polygon City asset pack. It is a very, 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 very insignificant problem, and it's a relatively quick fix. Whenever you look around, it's an awesome place. It's a great setup. I'm going to hit play, and then first off, go into our world settings, and we want to change our game mode override to third-person game mode. And then from there, I'm going to position myself over the sidewalk, because now whenever I go in, now I can walk around and check out the city. However, one of the things that I did notice on the pack itself, as soon as you walk out into the roadway, you immediately fall through the ground. There is no player start, so we're going to have to add a player start in as well, which that's easy enough. I can go ahead and do that. I can grab a player start, slap one down, and now we have a player start. So every time we hit play, we're going to come into right here. But we need to address the holy crap, I fall through the world thing, and that's a quick fix. Alright? Now, inside the meshes folder for the Polygon City, inside environments, the problem that we run into is the road sections themselves do not have proper collisions turned on for them. So all I'm going to do is double click, I'm going to open it up, I'm going to come over here to the right hand side. This is a quick fix. I'm sure there's other ways of fixing it, but this takes care of it relatively quickly. I'm going to come down to the collision section where it says project default here. Go ahead and scroll down and then select use complex collision as simple. And then hit save. It's the fastest way to take care of it, but it is something they're going to have to address, hopefully. But it's just that easy. You double click on the static mesh, scroll down, go from the collision complexity, grab that, click there, click save, close, go to the next one. It's slow and repetitive, but you know what? It takes care of the problem, and you only have to do this the one time whenever you create a project, but each time you create a project, you're going to have to go back in and do this, or else you're just going to fall through the world. Using these asset packs, if you're not familiar with them, I do recommend that you do take a look at them. I was smart enough to buy them during the holidays so that they were on sale and got them all for half price, and I'm pretty happy with all of them. However, this particular series, I'm just going to use the two. You can use what you learn from these and kind of tie it over. But the first video, by covering the animation thing to where you can create a single skeleton and have every single solitary one of them work off of that single skeleton, it takes a little time to get everything set up, especially if you try to do all of the polygon packs. Yeah, it will take a little time, but again, it's worth it in the long run. So we're just about done with this. So this was the biggest part of what I wanted to cover in this video, but I will cover a few more things. As you're going through, you're going to come across one of them that is a road section that's actually mixed in with the rest of them. It's this right here. It's the road patch. You can skip that one. That one's just fine. Yeah, I'm sure you can actually go into collision and set up another type of collision for it, but I've used this one. I've had no adverse effects with it. It works well for me, and several projects where we've done it all in multiplayer and everything just works. So now we can go in and hey, we can walk around the streets and not fall through. All right, awesome. In a future video, I'll show you how to modify the cars where you can actually drive the cars. But, okay. And as I covered in the first video, we've created our own characters folder, which is part of my simple multiplayer Steam setup. We've got a simple animation system right here. But what I really need to do is I want to create a new folder. And I'm going to call this Unarmed. And then I'm going to take and select all of these right here. And I'm going to move all of them into the Unarmed folder. Now I want to create a new folder called Rifle. I'm going to create a new one called Pistol. And another new one called Melee. For this video, we're going to do a simple rifle animation system. And now, there's a bunch of different ways you can go about doing this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the Epic's Game Launcher. I'm going to come over to in the library in the vault, and I'm going to select the Animation Starter Pack. If you don't already have it, go to the Marketplace and you select Animation Starter Pack. As you can see, it is free. I already own it, but you can add that to your project and it will take care of everything. It'll copy all the files that you need to go into it. Now, same basic principle that we did in the first video. Now you've got crouch animations. We'll worry about that later as well. The aim spaces, we're not so much worried about just yet. But you'll scroll down and you will see that there is a UE4ASP underscore hero whatever. It's this one right here. And then you've got a player character itself. But if you were to open up this particular animation blueprint, the orange file, and you can click back into see that it's already got crouch, crouch walk, jog, run, jump, everything you need for a basic armed system. So, hey, let's use it. Now, it seems straightforward, but we're going to have to do a few tweaks to it. So we know that in our animation folder, we're going to go ahead and do this as in the rifle one. We're going to right click on our hero animation blueprint. But before we can do that, since the animation starter pack included its own Unreal 4 mannequin, we're going to have to go to the mesh folder, open up the skeleton, and here we're going to again have to select humanoid rig, grab the arm, rotate it up 50, forearm, rotate it back 30. So upper arm 50, lower arm 30. Modify pose, use current, and then save. Now, I'm going to go ahead and hit save all, make sure everything's good to go. I'm going to come back up to the UE4 mannequin or the animation starter pack folder itself once this is done saving. And then I can scroll down. I can again find this, and I want to go ahead and right click on it, retarget anim blueprints, duplicate anim blueprints, and retarget. Select the SK polygon. I want to change the UE4ASP underscore hero TPP, and I'm going to change that to Polygon, and then change the folder, characters, player, animations, rifle, then click OK, and then click retarget. It's going to copy over all the blend spaces and animations and make them all work that we need, and then we're going to hit save all. Now, here's two ways we can do a quick test on this. We can minimize the animation starter pack. We come back to our player blueprints folder, and we know the player underscore base works. If we click on play right now, then we'll come into the map. We can run around. We're still on our SWAT character. We can double click on it, select viewport, mesh, change the mesh over to any of the other characters we want to do. But they're still going to be in the unarmed animations. So if we then click on play, run around the map, now we're back in our same unarmed character animation, and everything's the same. But let's take a look at our rifle animations. And here's the thing, is this one was set up specifically for a different blueprint, or character blueprint. And if we look into our mesh, or our animation starter pack, the root of it, down here at the bottom again, we have our blueprint. Now there's some other stuff that's in here that is slightly different. So for right now, there is no input action crouch. So what I'm going to need to do is I need to come in here to edit, project settings, and I need to come down to input, action mapping, and I want to add a new one, and it was called crouch. Let's make sure we're looking at it right here. Okay, where it says crouch right there. So we need to change this to crouch. And for right now, I'm going to go ahead and give it the keyboard key of C for crouch. Sounds good enough to me. Let them recompile and save, and that'll take care of that error. And let's see if there's any other ones. Doesn't look like it. Everything else seems to be in good working order. So, for now, what I'm going to do is I am going to make a copy of this particular one here. I'm going to copy it over to our blueprints folder. And for now, I'm going to hit F2, rename this as Poly_rifle, if I can learn how to spell. And I'm going to open that new one up, go to Mesh. I'm going to change my static mesh over to, doesn't matter which one, we're going to go to the male jacket. Let's look at it in our viewport. And now our animation class we want to use is Polygon Animation Blueprint. Alright, we probably could have named that a little bit better, but at least we know what it is. Going to hit compile and save. Now, if we go into, excuse me, our default pawn class, we're going to, for right now, change that over to, we want Poly Rifle. Now when we hit play, you notice it takes away our ability to, and we don't have a sprint key right now either, but we can hit, it's being a little bit on the odd side. Don't like it. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on with the Poly Rifle. Our character movement. You know, in fact, let's make it even more simple. We have this piece right here. Crouching, I'm going to copy that. I'm actually going to drag this over to here. I'm going to open up my player base. And I'm going to go ahead and add in the crouching here. And yeah, that's good enough. I just don't like that one at all. So we're going to come back into our player base, compile, save. But as you can see, we're missing two variables. So I'm going to right click, create variable, right click, and go ahead and compile and save. And it created that variable for us just there. So I'm going to come back to my world settings again. I'm going to go back to player underscore base. Open it back up. Look at our mesh again in our viewport. Let's see what happens now if we change our animation from Polygon anim BP to anim blueprint. There we go. So now when we go in, hit play, we can move around and do our thing. We can walk, we can jump, which we will fix all these animations later. We'll do that in the next video. And we will fix the crouch and get everything else working. But this will get us started with getting us in position for transitioning to armed combat. And yes, there's going to be some issues with the way that they hold a rifle. But again, this is just a good start. Alright, well, we've fixed the roadway in this video, and we've started making our transition over to an armed hold for our weapons, and start modifying our animation blueprint over to where we can use two different styles from unarmed and armed. Again, if we want to go back to that, all we have to do is go into our player underscore base and our mesh, animation blueprint, and there we go. We change it back to our original. So now we can run around and be unarmed. And what we'll do is we'll create a pickup item so that whenever we walk over the item and pick it up, it'll then give us a rifle and allow us to actually be able to shoulder it and utilize it one step at a time. All right. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.